What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the red color, playing as Odin. His name is Yoshii. His opponent today in the blue color, playing as Isis. He is a yearly competitor in the most fabulous AOM Dad competition. Unfortunately, he has been placed second in every single competition behind Chrono JJ, but he's been competing there for quite some time, and that's how it works. Anyways, his count on count. He's playing some Isis for us here today on the map Frozen Waste. Yes, this is the group stages of the Challengers League. Bam! Best players in the world come in and say, look, it's time to play some Age of Mythology at the highest level and see who is going to be able to win. So yeah, that's where we're at. Now, I will make this apparent right now at the 1 minute and 30 second mark if anybody decides to refer to the fact that there is something missing over on this corner, which is the resource tab. This is a recorded game with no observer in it. So I can't use that feature, unfortunately. Hopefully, with Retold, we'll be able to have observer features no matter what, which will be very, very exciting. For now, you can just take a look at the bottom left here to see the resources and all the good stuff that will happen from that. Now, we are partaking in a very, very exciting matchup here. This is a pretty rare matchup. We don't get to see this one all too often. It's the Isis versus Odin matchup. And this one here is I love this matchup from the perspective of, because it's rare, I love this matchup. But the fact of the matter is, this matchup is actually one of Isis's great matchups. Why is this matchup great for Isis? Well, for the first thing you got to realize is that Odin has no ranged hero and no way to speed up his Herso, unlike Thor and unlike Loki, who have both got access to a troll and the speedier Hall of Thane's Herso. Odin does not have that. So he's going to have a tough time against a potential Anubis strategy that could come out from count on count. Now, he doesn't have to do this strategy, but he can. So you got to be aware of that as a possibility when you're playing Odin here, which does kind of limit your options to some degree. Now, you can kind of metagame that maybe your opponent's not going to go for the Anubites, or maybe you can actually play around them a little bit by doing a couple of different interesting things as Odin, but it does make it quite difficult. Anyways, we'll see how things are going to go. Count on count does something that I personally detest as an Egyptian main who understands the ins and outs of the Egyptian economy better than most. He goes to the second hunt here when he's got a perfect amount of hunt in his home base. Why do I not like this? Reason I don't like this, the big primary reason I don't like this, is your advance time is going to be heavily delayed unless you really limit yourself on your monument, on how many villages you put on gold, getting the temple up nice and fast, and just making sure that you've got the right amount of villagers out on this hunt as well, eating this one early. Now, you can do that. It is a perfectly viable opening. You can get a 4:30 advance time, 5-minute advance time. We're seeing here for count on count with the monument and everything else that's going to be coming through, and the bust. But in all honesty, I would rather see count on count eat all of this hunt up first, get himself a bunch of priests out to eat these walrus in the middle of the map. You can see how close it is to this, and be harassing these longhouses in the middle of the map and these units in the middle of the map with a handful of priests, Magyar style. But instead, he's out on this hunt, and I imagine that Yoshii here has sent his scouts already, and count on count is going to be in for a rude awakening here as he has to retreat all the way back home, making that retreat path go. The raven flying overhead saying, "What are you guys doing here? I see you." Villager going to be turning around, give a little bit of a shake there as Yoshii's going to be retreating back. Longhouse in the middle of the map is up. And count on count will be showing his hand very, very soon. And his hand is Bast. And we'll see what's going to happen here from this perspective for count on count, and what Yoshii is going to do as a response to this, as we see count on count allowing Yoshii to get some free favor here. 2.16 favor is a big little help there in the early game. Plus all of these obelisks. This is one thing that I think against Norse, you probably don't really want to use these obelisks. If I'm all honest, as playing as Isis against Norse, I just wouldn't place the obelisks down. They're one favor each. They take a very short time to kill. If your opponent starts killing them, you have to delete them. It's a waste of 10 gold, and it's just a tough time. And we see an absolutely insane play here from Yoshii as he is grabbing the forward town center right in front of Count Von Count's very eyes, ladies and gentlemen. We see the armory coming down for Count Von Count. This has to be the most crazy, aggressive town center grab I've ever seen. You know your opponent is going for a fast heroic here. You already know that's the case. You know the timing is coming for you. But will Yoshii be able to defend this is the big question. Yoshii is basically saying, hey, Count, look here, attack me right at this place. You're going to get value. That's what Yoshii is saying to Count, and we'll see what's going to happen here as the town center will be finishing. He will be able to mine some of this gold out. He will be able to eat some of this elk here as an option out of this town center as he gets that one down, and he's immediately leaving this location to find something else to do. I'd be surprised if he goes for another town center, but he's got 9 villages on wood at the moment. So he may simply be going for a third town center here on this location as the absolutely crazy decision-making here from Yoshii. We'll have to wait and see if it's going to work out, but the amount of town centers that Yoshii is going to be having here against a one town center Isis, you got to be worried for Yoshii in this game. If Count Von Count can make this work to any degree, it's going to be a tough time. That's for sure. We do see the Nephthys coming through. I have a couple of words, a couple of feelings about this usage of prosperity, and I'm going to use this time as we're also going to take a look at what Yoshii's doing, as Yoshii is in fact going for that third town center. I have a couple of feelings about this use of prosperity. First and foremost, the feeling is there's no shaft mine here for Count Von Count with this prosperity. What does that mean? It means that during this prosperity, you lose out on 30% boosted gather rate from having shaft mine. That's a huge amount of missed opportunity for prosperity. The second thing you miss out on is the fact you've got 9 villages on food, 4 villages on gold that aren't on that gold mine that you could potentially be gathering gold from. So there's quite a bit of missed opportunity here with this prosperity, and I do honestly believe that ISIS has got a stronger economic chance by delaying that prosperity into the heroic age. You can see that Count Von Count right now is floating 400 gold after he puts the Migdol down. So he's got plenty enough gold here as he's going to be placing this Migdol right in front of the town center of Yoshii. But he's just floating gold here. He actually needs more wood income at this point as well, not gold income. He needs around what is it? I think roughly 12 to 13 villages with hand axe on wood to support chariot archer production. So he's short that. So everything just comes out in the wrong order if you're going to be using prosperity at this time. The only reason Count Von Count does this is because it's been done for ages. It's been done since the start of time. And Scorpion Men now out for Count Von Count, and Count Von Count is going to be able to do what Count Von Count does like to do, and that's raid with these Scorpion Men, running around the map, but the Valkyrie is out. Scorpion Man does only move at 5.0 speed with 500 HP. The Valkyrie's got a little bit more HP, as we do see the Priest coming in here to get a little bit of damage done. The Hearse are getting pushed back as well. Yoshii here in the middle of the map can have to retreat all the way back here as well. We are seeing these villagers pulling back here. And here's the thing. Count Von Count, if he thinks about this even a little bit, he's got two options. So option number one is he could use Ancestors Eclipse to clean this town center up immediately without any use of any military. And then he could put pressure onto another town center. Obviously, that would mean that Count has used his Ancestors Eclipse for a town center. It's not a bad use by any stretch. It's basically what he's going to be doing anyways. We are going to be seeing the Siege Tower now moving through. Yoshii's got himself 2 villages in this in this town center. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going to try and pop them out to get a little bit of value taking down this siege tower. But we'll see how it's all going to go as the villagers have ran all the way back onto the polar bears there, and count on count starting to send the chariot archers all across the map here, getting some villager kills or at least pushing them back. But you got to look at this from Yoshii's perspective. He's got tons of villagers right now. The problem that he's going to find himself in is he's not going to have the production facilities to support the economy that he's got. And count on count is going to be very, very patient. We are seeing the war elephant here getting healed back up. Will it survive or not? Answer is no, as count on count loses that one. He's going to be grabbing his town center. Very, very late second town center grab. Personally, in this situation, I think the best play for the Egyptian player is to stay one town center and go Mythic Age through Thoth here. Why? Because you're going to get Phoenix. You're going to be able to get good pressure onto your opponent. You're going to be able to have a meteor to blow up someone's home base. And you're just going to have a lot more stuff than grabbing this town center and slowing you down. You can jump onto the walrus in the middle of the map now. There's plenty of food to grab here. We are not seeing farms just yet, but Count definitely should be considering moving across the map here and starting to get his hunt. Whereas Yoshii now, he's under threat. He's pushed off his berries. We do see a handful of raiding cavalry in this position, but with the Scorpion Man here to deal some damage, that's going to be a tough one for Yoshii here, as now Count's retreating back out. We do see the villagers are out onto this gold mine completely naked here, as Yoshii, he's a ways away from getting to the next stage. He's going to be grabbing another town center here. He just doesn't care. How do you play around the Isis Ancestors Eclipse timing push? Well, you just give yourself a billion town centers and you just say, what of it? I'm just going to take town center after town center after town center here, as the count on count siege towers, the count on count minions here going after this position, want to take out Yoshii's town center here. Count here, he's got himself full population or thereabouts, or full population in terms of one town center play, but he's now got his second town center up, ready to start pumping villages. We do see the chariot archers going after some units in this base here, as Count's going to be retreating back, utilizing the minions here to actually take out some houses, causing some problems there. Is the one siege tower, one elephant here, trying to clean up this town center. Count does have to be careful about this. Luckily for Count, Yoshii is playing the I don't care about town center game, and Count has actually realized this in a way, but had Yoshii left some villagers in this town center, he could have popped out. He probably could have taken the siege tower down. As we do see the units now up on this position. More longhouses getting placed down, as we are seeing the chariot archers looking for raids, but the raiding cavalry finding the units on this position. A little bit of a misclick there from Count on Count. He's going to be losing a whole bunch of those chariot archers for free there, as the raiding cavalry coming around to surround those Scorpion Men. And while Count on Count here, while he has picked off 2 town centers, which is equal to 1,400 resources here in this game, you have to ask the question, did Yoshii pay for those town centers by the end of this? I would say this town center went up fast enough that he paid for it. I would say this town center went up fast enough that he paid for it. So he's actually, Count on Count is actually in a completely fine position, so long as he doesn't lose a ton of villagers here. As we are seeing the villagers now turning around, going to be shanking the Scorpion Man down. But that's going to be a lot of villager kills there for Count on Count, and some units are now starting to move into this position as the monument to the priest coming up. Some axemen coming out here. They're not going to be a big help, but the Migdol Stronghold will finish up here, as the villagers can then dive into said Migdol Stronghold and feel very, very safe. But Yoshii's still putting the pressure on over there, as now Count starting to move in and look for this town center to take away as well. Like this little retreat into the corner there by Count on Count. He's going to be ready to start putting pressure onto those gold mines and the location over here. But Yoshii is already ready, as we do see the forest fire coming in. That's going to pick up a couple more villagers on the retreat path. Plus these villagers over here are going to have to retreat as well. So Yoshii getting a little bit of value there, as now Count on Count moves in with the chariot archers. These ones going to be doing a little bit of distraction action, as Count's going to get a little bit of damage done onto this position. But look at the resource or the villagers gathering for Count right now. He has been completely pushed off everything for a really, really long time. Yoshii, on the other hand, while he has got all these villagers idle technically here, look at the villagers. He's got plenty on the resources for the time being. The town center getting taken down as well. Count on count here with very little in the tank at this point. He manages to push the villagers off that location, but he needs to get back onto this Migdol stronghold to hold on, as we do see a Scorpion Man coming in. The Axeman going to be able to take down one of those Hersir there, as he's going to have a couple more Axemen to deal with the other Hersir, but he has to be very smart about it as he sends the Axemen in, looking to target down the fellow Hersir on this position, as the unit's now going to be retreating away. Meanwhile, Yoshii has moved onto this bottom gold mine with nothing but gatherers there, as more Scorpion Men coming in to assist with the difficult nature of trying to hold on to gold mines on this map. Meanwhile, units coming through for Count Von County. Find some more villagers here. These elephant raids, this is the least efficient way you can raid an opponent, as County is trying to make this work with the elephants and the chariot archers. If you move the chariot archers by themselves against Norse, or even not just Norse, Greek, or even Atlantean, they make cavalry. They can chase those down and they can take those out very, very easily. So it is a risky raiding unit. It's much better to use, say, like Spearman, Scorpion Man, or potentially Cavalry if you really want to get some raids in. But yeah, Chariot Archers, not the best unit to be sending around the map against those raiding cavalry of Norse, because they can just deal them too easily. As Count here, 600 gold in the bank, not much food in the bank, throwing farms down when he could be eating these walrus in the middle, really, really helping him out. There's a lot of walrus here, 5 walrus in the middle of the map, and Count's had map control for quite some time here. You'd have to accept that, as we do see a hill fort getting dropped at the top side of the map. Villagers on the hunt over here. Lots of dwarves on the hunt, actually, as Yoshii has got gatherers down the bottom, dwarves at the top. He doesn't mind the weirdness that is coming in. And look at this. Balder, 15 minutes, 54 seconds, clicked up for Count Von Count here, as Yoshii here, as Count Von Count is in a very, very difficult position here. He's gone one town center, which means he's behind on the economy in general. He's had to throw farms down. He does have a gold mine next to a town center, so that's a big, big plus for him here in the defense against the potential Balder Ragnarok. But this gold mine is not going to be much. He does not have access to any upgrades for the Axeman. He doesn't have any access to any armory upgrades either. We do see a cheeky Migdol stronghold getting placed onto this position, but Yoshii comes in with his villagers, shanks down the Pharaoh on this position, as well as the Yoshii villagers will take that Migdol stronghold out. And Count Von Count going to have to retreat back. The raiding cavalry coming in onto this position, as now the units are starting to look to take down Yoshii's forward town center. Yoshii grabbing this town center on the back as well, as Balder is just about through 75%. We also see the fortified town centers on the way, as Yoshii picking off a couple more villagers on this position. He's got a crazy amount of resources. Armory upgrades a little bit lacking here, if you do ask me. I would love to see at least bronze shields. If not getting himself up to copper or bronze mail at this point would be a very, very big help, as we see Masons coming in to try and desperately hang on to this town center for a little bit longer, as Yoshii ready to click that button, I'm sure. As the raiding cavalry coming over here, we see a whole bunch of barracks are dropped now for Count Von Count. He wants the Axeman out to deal with this Ragnarok. What is the Ragnarok really going to look like here, though? He's got 10 villagers idle over there, plus about 60 villagers total. So he's looking at least a 60 Ragnarok kind of thing here. But Yoshii deciding, you know what? Don't even need to click the button just yet. Why click the button when you don't need to? But this raid onto these villagers might force Yoshii to click that button nonetheless, because he's going to be losing tons of villagers here. We see the army coming in onto this position, as the villagers going to be turning around, trying to shank down the chariot archers as best as they possibly can. But maybe the best option is just to run away, or not do anything, apparently, as the chariot archers getting pulled back. Meanwhile, the market of Count Von Count does get taken back. The ballista now out, which is going to be a huge help in this fight. And not only that, remember this, Yoshii still has got frost. And what does Frost still being alive mean for Yoshii? Well, one, he can freeze the entire army and take down a position very, very simply. But more importantly, if the Son of Osiris does end up coming, if somehow, some way, Count can get to the mythic age here, which, I mean, we're seeing his economy, it doesn't look very likely, but if he could get to the mythic age here, Frost plus a handful of Ballista are enough to snipe a Son of Osiris from anywhere, so long as they are close enough to start targeting it down at the start. If you have like 4 Ballista, I think, and start targeting the Son of Osiris down, it will get cleaned up as Count on Count coming through here with his villagers to try and take down a Frost Giant. The Frost Giant is going to be able to tank for days and pick a ton of villagers off in this game. Meanwhile, he does manage to push Yoshii back. Yoshii trying to get himself this town center up. Count on Count unrelenting with these chariot archer raids here. Basically, Yoshii just needs to send some raiding cavalry back there and just accept a little bit of a loss here. I wouldn't mind seeing some walls get thrown up for those Ballista. The Migdal stronghold was taken down as well. This random Raven getting sniped by the Pharaoh and the priests, as all those chariots do seemingly get taken out, and Yoshii will be able to get himself up to 4 town centers here as the Fire Giant slowly pushing forward. Axeman getting taken down. I love that Yoshii just didn't click the Ragnarok button immediately here. He's realized he didn't need to, and he can just take the fact that now he's got Fire Giant, he's got Ballista, and he can just make this composition, which honestly, if you can make this composition work, your opponent doesn't have mummies. Even if they've got mummies, it's still tough to defend. But this is a tough thing for any Egyptian player to deal with, let alone an Egyptian player that is this far behind on the economy. And look at the Fire Giant coming in, just completely destroying everything there. We see a random, what is that, Frost there from Yoshii, but it doesn't matter as Count on Count says, look, I don't want to see the Ragnarok. I'm tapping out before the Ragnarok comes in. Yoshii claims game number 1 in commanding fashion here, showing one of the reasons why ISIS, simply put, the ISIS strength that once was that one town center timing a push, it's just not where it used to be, ladies and gentlemen. Yoshii just grabs town centers. He plays the distraction game. He gets the economy going. He has an incredible advantage here. And while Count on Count did utilize the raids really, really nicely, I think this post game speaks for itself here in terms of civilian units. Bam! We got 66 to 44. That's a 22 villager lead at the 12-minute mark. And so long as you don't lose all of your villagers to any sort of like random Ancestors Eclipse push, doesn't even matter if you lose all your town centers, because the villagers are there. You can rebuild. You can then beat that army up, and Bob's your uncle. Jill is your aunt. You've taken the ISIS beast down. A great demonstration here by Yoshii. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.